powered by BureauWorks. So, for those of you who have not been with us before, I'm VivetaGene, AI language specialist and MTP trainer, PhD student in translation and head of partnerships at BureauWorks. BureauWorks is a cloud-based translation management system integrating innovative AI translation technology and the winner of the Process Innovation Challenge at Lockworld 50. Every week, we will meet here with a special guest and hear the voices of our translation industry from all perspectives. And our motto is Talk Fair on Air. So, what is on our plate? So today you will get inspired by learning what is the impact of the AI digital translation era on terminology. You will be informed of the International Network for Terminology. You will challenge yourself. Do we know how to implement terminology management? You will delve into the mindset of the translator working with terminology, and you will find solutions to your daily pains when working with CAT tools with innovative translation tech of BWX. You will hear translator stories from our guests, and as always, you will understand, act, interact, and learn with us with our quizzes, polls, and fail for fun world. And we will talk fair on air today with a special guest, a person who is really, I would say, famous in our industry, Dimitris Moutafis, who will share with us the story of how to bring a new standard in linguistic services for the information and communication aids. So, Dimitris, we're very honored to have you with us, and we're here to hear your story.
Thank you, Viveta, so much. Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending this wonderful event. I'm very happy to join you here today because I think we have a lot to learn from each other. I've always been of the approach that in human interaction we always give and take, so it's a win-win situation for everyone. Even though I may appear to you as an expert in terminology, that doesn't mean that there are not other experts in terminology. And I'm sure many of you here attending today will have many interesting things to say to us about terminology in your daily workflows. So I became a few words about myself. I've been in the industry for about I lost track of time. Probably about 20 years, 17. It's 17. I began as an intern translator for the company that I now own. I used to work with European Union texts, which many of you would know, would probably know that are very, difficult texts with this language, this jargon, the EU jargon. So I found out terminology is very, very important very early at the first stages of my career. I worked at this. I've been working in other jobs as well. I used to work in a translation school of translators. I have worked in digital marketing. I'm a social media expert. And since 2015, I took over my company, Omada, where I used to work as a translator and project manager at some point, and I run the company that you have probably already seen and inquired about. That's about it, about who I am, I guess.
And thank you very much, because your story matches with many others, other professionals' stories. And it is, the evolution and how you, because it was our topic this week, how you invent and reinvent yourself in this journey. So very nice to hear it.
Yes.
And let's start our interaction for today. So I have 10 questions, and I would like you to pick a secret one from 1 to 10. Like which number?
Okay. I don't know, maybe 3.
Okay, 3. So, Dimitris, we would like to learn, why did you lean into the translation services? And there is a set of questions here, so let's start with this one.
Okay, so there are several reasons why someone would choose to become a professional translator. Some people have passion for languages, a deep interest in linguistics, and they enjoy learning new languages and immersing themselves in different cultures and all that stuff. Some others find satisfaction in helping people communicate, to bridge gaps between people who speak different languages. Some others enjoy the possibility of the flexibility of the freelance translator profession. This was actually one of my own visions, and what intrigued me the most about learning how to become a professional translator in the beginning. I was supposed to become to study English language and literature when I was younger, but life had it this way, so that I never did it. But I could always remember since I was 13 that I would every summer I would sit down and spend the summer months writing down, jotting down, entries from English into Greek and Greek into English dictionaries. So when I became 28, I realized that I could become a terminologist or a lexicographer. So yes, then I started looking about other options about how I would become a professional translator, and this has led me to where I have become today.
Yeah, I think many people see themselves in your story. I see myself in this story because when I was like 4 year old, I was playing with a typing machine. So it was probable that I would do something related. So very interesting. And what is your vision now for the translation industry after all these years?
Well, here's the thing now. Right now, with the AI evolution and all that stuff, we're something like in the Wild West right now. The industry is rapidly integrating new technologies, including AI. The volume of work keeps increasing, but as promising this might seem, there are also some pitfalls here. Some, it's the in some languages and specializations, the market has become, quite competitive, and we have seen it during the past 6 to 7 months. And as machine translations becomes more sophisticated, translators need to adapt to new technologies that keep coming up. Because no matter what, human in the loop will never stop be the number one thing that we should remember. These systems are not. We're not going to have a Skynet anytime soon, in my opinion. But the market saturation and the difficulties about finding consistent work and commanding fair rates will be a challenge here. But we should remember that humans will continue to always play a vital role, especially in areas when nuance, cultural sensitivity, and the deep understanding of context are crucial, or in very specialized texts that include specialized terminology.
Mm-hmm. So in your case, you are a manager and you are also a translator. You touch both
And
sides.
terminologist.
So Of course, but I say translator and I mean a terminologist. Maybe it's wrong, but yeah, and terminologist. That's the
We can
specialty.
say a few words about this if you want. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
So let me have this question, and you can cover also this part of
okay.
translator and terminology
Of
because
course.
I believe it is relevant. So, what are the challenges that you face right now? And you can answer the question about terminologists and translators as well.
The challenges that we're facing right now. There have emerged about, I don't know, right now in the market there must be up somewhere around 1,000 tools and management systems and translation management systems, machine translation systems, terminology management systems, and you always have to keep up with what's new and follow the evolution. Now you need to maintain quality, and you need to always learn new things. Right now, we need to continually update our skills and knowledge because the society as well as the market is changing right now, and people have immunity to change. And there's this nice book by Keegan. I don't know if you know this, which is called Immunity to Change. So on the one hand, as a manager, I need to deal with people who have various beliefs about AI and its importance in the digital translation era. For example, we have the old school approach, people who still want to use the traditional way of working. And just so you know, in Greece, at least as far as I can say, there are still people who don't want to even work with CAT tools. So imagine what happens when you ask these people to collaborate with you in a collaborative platform like BureauWorks, right? So this is a challenge that it's quite serious. On the other hand, we have the new colleagues, the new people, excellent colleagues graduating from universities right now, the new generation, which is very tech savvy and always eager to learn new things. And this is very promising. But, the main thing there is that it takes them quite a long time to acquire enough experience about the translation process and the terminology management, because it's very crucial in specialized texts that you are familiarized, if not an expert, in terminology on the domains that you work. So we have on the other hand, we need. I see people who are acting like Luddites, but they keep forgetting the cut tools. The time when the cut tools launched, because right now we're only experiencing a similar situation, just like when these first cut tools evolved, right? And the main thing that people keep forgetting, in my company, I have a strong belief. I consider machine translation, post editing with the use of AI as a human translation assisted by CAT tools, translation memories, terminology bases, and generative AI as well. So no such thing, as a full post editing without the work from humans behind, right? Post editors need to possess strong skills, strong terminology skills, because what we have witnessed is that although AI is evolving and machine translation alongside, the problem is that they cannot still understand the nuances behind the texts and the peculiarities of terminology used and all that stuff. So we humans are still the major key player here, at least for the next 5 to 10 years, I believe.
Sure. And let's say hi to Luisa, Heather, Rodrigo, and Boris from the audience, because they just said hello. And yeah, and what you were saying, Dimitris, is that it's something that not many times is raised in a discussion about the number of TMSs, the number of tools that we have. And what I say, that it is someone to be AI literate, meaning that they have a broad knowledge of all the tools so that they can pick the best tool for each use case and build their strategies. So even if this event is hosted by BureauWorks, it does not mean that we don't work with other CAT tools, you understand? So it is that every CAT tool and every system is an asset that has to be used the correct way, to be the right match for our work. The important thing for translators is to know everything around technology in order to be good decision makers. So what you said is really important. And I think with that, we can go to the next set of questions. Would you like to pick one number?
Okay, let's say 5.
It's very relevant to what we just said about technology literacy. So you are a member of a translation association in Greece. Do you find that translators are translation technology literate? Is there resistance?
I think it's a mixed situation. I mean, what we can see in our own association is that we have a mix of people that then they have varying levels of proficiency with translation technology. As I said earlier, there are people who still translate using Microsoft Word and no CAT tool at all, right? And of course, there are others who have already searched the market to find tools like I don't know if we could say names of companies around here right now. Now, experienced translators, they often have a good understanding of translation technology, because the ones that are more than 15 years in the market have already witnessed the transition from the traditional methods to technology-assisted processes. But I think they are very, they still resist, because they have become very, they're in their own comfort zone now, all those years working with the old, let's say, traditional CAT tools. And we will be here by repeating ourselves, saying that they have concerns about the accuracy. They're afraid that they're going to be replaced by AI, many of them. On the other hand, we have newer members in our association that are, as we said earlier, they belong in a generation who is very tech savvy, and they're very eager to become familiar with the latest translation tools and software and terminology and all that stuff. And they are, generally, they're more open to using technology in their work. And by saying technology, I mean the latest technology, right? Because all new and younger translators Old and younger translators, both use CAT tools or whatever, but the younger people are always more open to, because they've seen what's going on with this revolutionary evolution of AI all around every domain in life, not only in languages and translation. So they are more open to use. Now, although there's willingness to learn, I believe there are still some gaps in education and training, especially in Greece. And we have been trying, at least in our own association, because I can only speak for my association. There are many associations who offer training programs which cover CAT tools or translation memory systems and all that stuff. And probably they do offer some workshops or seminars and all that stuff. But in terminology, there's a gap. And here I will just say very quickly what's the difference. People tend to misunderstand the difference between a terminology manager or terminologist and a translator, who uses terminology for his work. The original theory of terminology, the one on which the general theory of terminology evolved, and we started having people working in terminology to create glossaries and databases, was very prescriptive. In translation-oriented terminology, the one that we translators use, this approach to do terminology work, things that quite different, because the latest theories about this are that terminology is a thing that keeps evolving. It shouldn't be prescriptive, it should be descriptive. People always need to reevaluate terminology, terms, and their definitions, and adjust them accordingly to the domain and the industry that they work with.
And you mean by that the terms are interdisciplinary, one thing. Second, they are dynamic, so they evolve over the time and according to their use. Yes, and I would like to know here, because we touched this and I would like you to talk about this. I feel that terminologist is like a specialty of a translator. Is it this way how you feel it, or you feel that they are completely different paths? Should a terminologist have a background in translation? Or are they completely separate things?
That's one more important thing to say. Terminologists do not necessarily need to have a translation background, because their basic duty is to compile terminology glossaries, maybe monolingual glossaries or maybe multilingual glossaries. Of course, having translation skills and translation education is a great asset for a terminologist. But on the other hand, someone who has studied terminology works quite differently, because terminologists work with concepts, whereas translators work strictly with terms. This is a very thin line between the terminologists and the translators, because the main problem translators face when they have terminology issues is that they do not have the required knowledge about concepts and how concepts and ontologies and semantics and all that stuff, what role do they play in the specific domain that they specialize. On the other hand, terminologists lack knowledge about almost every domain. Usually the best translators and terminologists are people who are specialized in a specific domain. We've seen this in the past. translators who have been educated, who have been trained and have qualifications other than translation, such as in medicine, right? Or engineering and all that stuff, are already familiar, more familiar than the other colleagues that have studied translation. And we've always been saying that, you know, translation graduates, the first thing to do is attend specialized terminology education and training in the field of their choice. And on the other hand, you know, translators, they need to complement their terminology skills by studying training programs related to terminology work. Terminology is a discipline of its own, apart from translation. There is a whole different approach about the methodology of work and all that stuff. And there are many things to consider, but they do have, you know, a meeting point somewhere, which if someone could you know, could achieve and get specialized education, not only in terminology in terms of attending medical translation webinars or training and all that stuff, one would be better equipped attending programs focusing on terminology, because usually if you know the theories, the terminology management theories, terminology work theories, it gives you a fully different perspective about how you should choose a term, an equivalent, as we say, in your target language when you translate.
Then, Dimitris, I want to ask you something, because we have a question from the audience, and I would somehow combine the question with a fact. I believe that in our industry, we normally, when we run a company, we will never ask for a terminologist. We will ask a translator to extract the terminology of a text and then translate it. So in the audience, Candela asks us, what are the skills, the demanded skills for working as a terminologist? Could you, let's say, name 5?
Okay, this is a tough one, because some of the skills are, you know, interconnected. I mean, there are skills that are common from translators and terminologists. Now, that depends. And let me begin with what you said earlier. In the translation industry, usually the project managers or some other subject matter experts are the ones who do the terminology work. Right? Now, for in the technology sector, for example, you know, one would use a specialized translator. A company, I mean, would use a specialized translator with knowledge in the technology sector, in programming languages, cybersecurity, data analysis, and all that stuff. Because these people are probably more acquainted with the terminology. But the most important skill for terminology are research skills. Okay. What we have a major problem here is that because there are so many different databases scattered all around the internet, and there are many you know, non-verified, as we say, glossaries circulating on the internet. Terminologists and translators alike need to possess the critical thinking to help them know which equivalents they should use according to their domain. Now, the most important skills: willingness to learn, never stop learning. I mean, either as a translator or a terminologist, you should never stop learning. Things keep changing all the time. Research skills. A terminologist's job is usually based on a great level on research to find multilingual, monolingual glossaries. To know with definitions or without definitions. We now have the ability to use AI and help us create definitions.
Apologies for interrupting. At this point, we have Boris from the audience who says it is important to enhance the translation process by adopting a modularized, layered approach instead of the monolithic one, with terminology serving as the foundational layer. It is essential to clarify that the term-based functions as a valuable resource like TM within this layered structure, that rather than being positioned as the initial layer itself. And at this point, I think we could talk, Dimitris, about what could be an ideal workflow in a CAT tool entailing terminology work.
Okay. On a CAT tool, right?
Yes, I mean, what are the steps? Should we first start, because there are many schools, many perspectives, do we start by extracting the terminology? Do we go and start with the editor and after that creating the terminology? How would, as you are an expert in this, how would you put the steps? In which order?
I will explain very quickly. That doesn't mean that this ideal scenario works in the translation industry, because usually the deadlines are very, very, very tight. So
yeah, that's why we say ideal.
Yeah. Now, the ideal thing would be, number one, terminology extraction. Before we begin even translating, okay, we need to have a tool. Usually the CAT tools have such functions, right? That can be used to automatically extract key terms and phrases from the source text. Okay? Now, this is the way to identify important terminology at the beginning. And in real life, this is something that usually happens last, you know? And this is something, in my opinion, which undermines the quality and adds extra workload during the quality assurance process. Because the time spent, if the time spent for terminology extraction is spent wisely in the beginning and allow ourselves some time to do the work needed and create a term base, then things become so much easier for the translator and the rest of the people involved in the process. So number one, terminology extractions. Okay, so we create a terminology, a term base. The CAT tool is probably integrated with a terminology database, a management system or whatever to store and organize and retrieve the terms, right? And the consistency checks are much easier during the translation process. If you have a CAT tool that can check for consistency in terminology usage, along with during the translation process, you can be sure that you will always use the same terminology consistently throughout the translation, right? And when you complete, the review that will be done to check accuracy and consistency in terminology will take so much less time, so
Indeed.
little time, right?
Indeed. And
Now,
because I would like us,
then,
apologies, because I would like us to cover this part with a practical demo and cover this question about how can we use AI to help with terminology. Allow me, Dimitris, to ask you one more question because it is important for the audience. And let's go and check our knowledge about AI and terminology with a quiz. So, tell us, you are a member of Termnet,
yes.
and what is this project about?
Termnet is short for International Network of Terminology. For terminology, this is an international cooperation network which was founded in 1988, and it was endorsed by UNESCO at that time because they thought that they needed to foster and develop and distribute terminology worldwide. And this organization's primary value lies in its focus on the importance of terminology in communication, translation, interpreting, right, and information management. Now, what Termnet does, it offers resources, training, and tools related to terminology management, where that helps translators actually ensure accuracy and consistency of the work. Recently, we began launching, creating a new skills card, because there is a new path, a new learning path. The Termnet offers a course in terminology management. It's called that leads to a certification, and is EQA certification in terminology. It's one of its kind. Usually, this was only prioritized and addressing to people who worked as terminology managers in large multinationals or translation companies, right? On large organizations. And then in 2022, we took the decision that it was time to do something about translation-oriented terminology work, which is our main concern today here with translators in our audience, right? It affects our job, especially with AI. So we began creating a new skill card to offer a new certified terminology manager for translators.
Really interesting.
Apart,
And
yes.
could you share this? I mean, in a way,
Right
after
now,
the
right now it's
after the
right now
event,
we're
I
in the
mean.
process. Right now
Okay,
we're in
you are
the
in the
process of
process. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Great.
Now, a few more key aspects of Termnet's value to the community. Apart from the training programs, every year we conduct the Terminology Summer School, the International Terminology Summer School, which is a very popular training course for language professionals. Each year we visit a different country and organize these summer schools in cooperation with associations and local associations and local universities and all that stuff. We are very happy to participate in the Euroterm Bank project, which is an initiative taken by the Connecting Europe facility. This was a project that aimed to consolidate the European terminology databases in one large database in order for people to be able to find and retrieve terms. Especially, it began with low resource languages, and then it expanded to other languages as well. Now, this is a project that has been going for many years. Last year, we established a partnership with the Greek Translators Association, and actually myself as a coordinator in our association's terminology working group, we took the initiative of maintaining the portal where Termnet uploads glossaries for general purpose and general use. Now, this has been a very time-consuming task, but we do it with great pleasure, because we believe that with these advances in the field of terminology, the consolidation is a major concern among terminologists, because there is so many databases and so many glossaries circulating, and you need to keep looking on the internet as a translator. You need to keep looking and looking and looking and looking millions of websites until you find something that suits your work. Now, our aim was to work more on this project in order to be able imagine something like the IATE database of the European Union, but this project goes much further. It includes IATE, and it includes many other more resources.
So I think that you should share more information with the audience about Termnet, and this project is really important. And for now, they're asking for a quiz, and I also saw in the comments that they suggest other methods of terminology work while translating. So we will see that later on. So because Dimitris, you really like BWX, correct? And you tried it yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I believe that now Natasha can help us to start our quiz for today to test your knowledge. You will not see BWX. First, we will test your knowledge, and then we will see our demo and find out about how to handle terminology in our tool. So you can scan and go to Slido, and we will start our quiz right away.
Okay.
So the first question, let me see. The first question is, what is the technology used to fine-tune the style of the translator in BWX? Neural machine translation, artificial intelligence, deep learning, or linguistic pattern recognition?
Artificial intelligence.
Okay. And let's see the correct answer. Deep learning.
Whoa. I need more training.
Okay, so we will see this later. So which feature of BWX would we use to get a warning about a potential quality challenge?
From my experience, the translation smells was one of the feature that gave me that opportunity.
And one of our favorite ones. Yeah, correct. Bravo, Dimitris. So next question, what are the AI-powered functions in BWX that secure quality? Translation warnings, tax fixing, ChatGPT suggestion tax corrector, translation warnings, proofreading, fixing tags, alternative suggestion, LQIA speller, terminology verifier, translation smells, or translation smells, proofreading, fixing tags, alternative suggestion.
Translation warning, no. I think no. The AI, it's C.
Everybody's getting confused with this one. It's D here.
Okay.
These are the basic features, but okay, I understand because yeah, the functions are more or less the same, but the names are different, let's say. So let's go to the next one. Which engine and chat GPT are used by BWX? DeepL and ChatGPT 3, DeepL and ChatGPT 4, Microsoft Azure and ChatGPT 3.5 and 4, or Google Translate and ChatGPT 3.5 and 4?
That would be C.
Great. Yes. Amazing. So, and we have another question. Yes. Okay, here I'm going to help you because it is my mistake, let's say. What is a security
No need
certificate?
to. No need to. It's the C. The answer is C.
It's not only the C, it's also the A, because I wanted to tell you there are two correct answers in this question. So it is both
Oh, okay.
SSL TLS certificate and SOC 2 Type 2 certificate. Great. Thank you very much, Dimitris. So
I
I
need to
think we
come
can
back
go
next year
ahead.
for a new examination.
Next year we will have the certificates for everyone. So yeah, we will all get tested. So let me go now to our interface here. I will share my screen. Mhm. So present, and let's go share screen because we want now to see what we just said. So here works. Okay, and I let's see what comes first. Okay, so it's the section. Everything looks Greek to me. Do you see my screen?
Ah,
Probably. Dimitris, can you see it?
yes, I can. All Greek to
Okay.
me as well.
Yeah. Okay. So we have, let's see some segments here that are interesting in order to see how this works. So we have an English to Greek translation in the interface, and you can see that we have suggestions coming from AI translation and machine translation. So in this interface, we can choose whatever we want, AI or MT, and everything works together. We have terminology, glossaries, AI translation, machine translation, deep learning. Everything is interacting in BWX in order to facilitate the translator and place the translator at the heart of the process, because the basic skills in post editing, and I'm saying post editing and not machine translation post editing, because right now we're editing and correcting actually the output, is actually that everything is interacting. So it's editing and correcting context. So we see here some. Let's see this one, for example. We see English to Greek, and we have some functions which are AI powered actions. And here we can have an alternative suggestion, meaning that you don't need to go to another space like to an OpenAI ChatGPT, but here you can just click alternative suggestion and you can have an alternative suggestion for the specific translation. And there is a whole explanation about why do we have this alternative suggestion. Then we have proofreading. We have automatic proofreading. I'm going to show you this in a language probably that is more friendly to you. We have check smells, which is the warnings whenever there is something smelling fishy, as we say in the translation. And we have fixed tags. Now, here we don't have any tags, but what I can check with Dimitris here, for example, is this segment where we see that we have terminology. So the role of terminology here, because Dimitris, his language pair is English to Greek. So we see that we have project engineers, and in the glossary, we have project engineers. And then if I go here, for example, and I click project engineers, I can add the term, meaning that I can change anything I want in the glossary, and it is as simple as that. But on the other hand, because the system understands that here I have a term, if I try to to confirm this, it will show me that there is a term that it is differently translated here. So we will say apply this term, and you see that everything is interacting. So the first time I'm going to do it this way, but the second time the system will learn and I will not do it again, meaning that I have full consistency in terminology by using AI. So the workflow here in BWX and using deep learning, as we said, and AI features is that first we extract the terminology is actually extracted automatically. Then the system recognizes the terms and the translation of the terms. And then whenever I make a change to a term, this term is updated throughout the whole project. So you have consistency, and along with the fixing tags feature and along with the translation smells, you have a full pack of tools that you decide how to use them, and they facilitate your work. And let's say that Dimitris knows best than me that 80% of the text is, like in very technical documents, terminology. So if you have everything ready in terms of terminology, then what is left? I mean, the plain language is not going to be much. So your work is done, and you will never be worried about changing a term in the middle of a document. So now, to make it even more understandable for the audience, Dimitris, I will go and let me stop my screen and share again to go to another demo where we have English into French. So let me share again. So here you see, it is more friendly to the audience. So we have a European Commission document, and you see that the terms are marked like Council regulation and Règlement du Conseil in French. And there we have the term, so we can apply it. If, for example, here I don't have the translation of this term, then this means that when I choose the check smells, this is going to find out that something is missing. And you see here missing information. The translation has placeholders instead of the actual regulation numbers. And normally, let's see what happens here. If I go to confirm this segment, I will have a warning. There is a warning message for this translation. Are you sure you want to confirm this segment? Because there is glossary terms mismatch. So you have all these warnings from the system. You have your glossary here. And it's very impressive, in especially in European Commission documents, that, for example, here, I don't have the tags. So if I want to fix the tags, I just click Fix Tags, and with one click, all the tags are in place. So these are some very useful tools for the translators, and this is how AI can help terminology. I know, Dimitris, that you have tried the system and you love it and you use it in your company. So how do you
Yes.
feel about this progress?
Well, that's exactly what the system does. In terms of the question you asked me earlier about the ideal workflow, I mean, you have a system that can, during the translation process, help you with new terms, right? You can make it learn the new terms and store them in their base. So as a translator, you don't need to make more mistakes going down further the process of translating, because now the system has a perfect glossary and will stop you, as we've seen, will try to stop you. So I think that's very innovative in terms of terminology management, because we are humans. We may understand cultural nuances better than machines, but we cannot remember anything out of our head when we translate the same term many times in a text. So This is a gap that the system comes to fill in, and I believe it's of a crucial importance. I mean, about terminology consistency. That's exactly what intrigued me in the first place with this system, because
And you
exactly
use
because
it in the company.
yes,
And
yeah,
we just shared the link for it. So because Dimitris very much believes in this tool, he invites you to use it. And there is a special link until the event ends, which is a free trial for 14 days and 30% off for 3 months. So you can use it. You can share with Dimitris your experience, and you can talk with him more about how to use terminology in
of
the
course,
system, because he runs experiments, and he's going to be an expert. He's an expert in terminology, but he told me that he's going to start his PhD in this domain. So it's very exciting to know that
yeah,
we will have one more PhD student. So please use it, share your experience, and let's go for our fast five, Dimitris, I think, because we ran out of time, and I
yeah.
would like us to have this interaction. So now I'm going to start with 5 questions, and you have 10 seconds to reply to the question. When we see next
Okay.
question, then means time is up. Okay? And I say next question. So we start. What's the weirdest thing you've experienced with AI?
Uh, when I witnessed myself an AI system generating creative content like poetry or music that seemed so deeply human.
Next question. What's one tool or tip you can share that makes you most productive?
Definitely the Pomodoro technique. Working on focused intervals, usually 25 minutes, followed by short breaks. Keeps your mind clear
Next
to go
question.
on.
What's the biggest myth people believe when it comes to translation and technology?
Okay, everybody knows that, and it's circulating. Machine translation can fully replace human translators. No way. We still have nuances, cultural contexts, idioms. The system.
Next question. What's your favorite word in your native language?
My favorite word is ευτυχία. It means happiness.
Next question.
You
Using
know,
one word, how would you describe AI?
disruptive.
This was the faster answer you gave. Okay,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah, it's a very strong answer. Disruptive. Thank you very much,
Yes.
Dimitris. I believe the time was not enough for us to cover all the things that I would like to cover with you today. A big thank you to the audience, because you shared so many questions. I tried to cover as many as possible, but please connect with Dimitris on LinkedIn, reach out to him, use BWX, be open to technology. And if you are interested in finding out how to post edit in BWX and have a training with me, and by the way, you register for Elia Together on 21st, I think, of February, then you can use the link of Elia Together and register for this event. It is sponsored by BureauWorks, and it's not only about the training, it's because I would like to have special talks with you to understand your psychology, how you feel about technology, how we can solve things together. It's going to be an amazing meetup together, LSPs and translators, my favorite event. Please join. So thank you very much, Dimitris. Do you have anything for the closing message?
Uh, Thank you so much for everything, for this opportunity. The one thing I would say, never stop learning, people. Never stop learning. Things are changing rapidly all the time. Never stop learning.
Amazing message. Have fun and learn. This is important. Thank you very much, everyone, for being with us. See you on Wednesday. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.